We're here for Chassidus, so let's start with Chassidus. We're holding Ma'amar Yud Beis, Parak Aleph, and we were talking before about how the Yetzer Hara tries to convince us of different things. We were saying that it tries to convince us that we can receive chayes in the way the Goyim do, from the level of makif, from the level of Kuntreis makif, when really Yidden can only receive in a way of primi, so we receive from our primi, and we receive in an internal way, and really the source of internality goes all the way up, and ultimately Hashem won't let us keep receiving in a way of makif because Hashem has plans for us. Hashem wants that we should be able to receive in a way of primius, even though everything the Kuntreis and the primius was made for us, but ultimately Hashem wants us to receive in a way of primius, and therefore Hashem won't allow us to have a sustained level of sustenance from Kuntreis. So now, the Kuntreis is technically entitled Umayan Mibeis Hashem. However, when they gave the title to the English work, they called it Overcoming Folly. So really, the point of this is to overcome folly. So we're going to go on, I can't really call it a tangent because it really does fit with the main point. The Hemshech, the Kuntreis starts off with explaining to us the concept of Shus of the Yetzer Hara, etc. And we're not going to go on to discuss another Shus of the Yetzer Hara. So it's not really a tangent. It feels like we're breaking off from before a little bit. But it fits with the theme. So, this is another one of the enticements of the Yetzer Hara. That the Yetzer Hara entices him that no one will see an avera that a person does. Because a person does an avera, chas v'shalom, Hashem should save us from averis, he doesn't want that people should know that he does something bad. Which Amar Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai Salmidav, as Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai said to his students, I believe he was on his deathbed, and he said to his students that he said it should be Hashem's will that fear of heaven should be upon you like fear of flesh and blood.
Like fear, as in fear
of man,
yeah.
not like that you're afraid that flesh and blood are icky. Amar le Talmidav, his student said to him, Ad Kan, only until there. But to me, with the question, that is to say, that is to say, should it not be greater than Meir Bas Radam? And that's Rashi's explanation. Omar, he said, Uluvai, Sheikh Meir Bas Radam, that if only it would be that it were like the fear of flesh and blood. Shem Kain, Tachtlu Meveris Harbe. Again, Rashi's explanation. He said that if only it would be that your fear of heaven would be like fear of flesh and blood, because if that would be the case, you would be withheld from many averis. You would stop doing many averis. Tedu, no, when a person does an avera, Rashi, so he says when a person does an avera, Rashi comments, he does it in private. Even though Hashem is everywhere, Hashem sees everything, but he doesn't. The fact that Hashem sees him doesn't stop him. He's doing it in private so that no people should see him. And he says, that I hope that no one sees me. Person, when he does an avera, he knows Hashem sees everything. He's not worried about Hashem seeing him. He knows Hashem is seeing him. He's worried about people seeing him. If a person would be afraid of Hashem seeing him doing an avera, the same way that he's afraid of people seeing him doing an avera, he would stop. He wouldn't do the avera because someone sees him. Hashem sees him. And with this, the Yetzer Hara tries to entice a person that no one will see him, and they will not know his bad going on. In truth, it isn't the case. Everyone sees and knows and recognizes. He won't escape with doing certain things which are suspect in the eyes of people. Because in truth, because of all of the pleasures that he indulges in from the enticement of the Yetzer, he'll do many silly things. He'll do many follies that a healthy mind will not agree to at all. But the Yetzer Hara will take him out of his senses, and out of his knowledge of his creator, and he'll do many followful things. And with this, people, he becomes suspect in the eyes of people, and they start paying attention to him to know what's going on with him. As we see clearly, like we know with many things in speech patterns and with different like body language and different motions that a person does, that he can reveal many internal parts of himself that they're bad. Not just and the intention of this isn't just things that a person says which are asur, like lying or rechilos, or lashon hara, or things that are saying disgusting things. But even when a person says a certain story, which even it's even like just extra words or nullified words. But it's possible when a person speaks, I think they call it nowadays like a Freudian slip or something to that effect, that like a person says something they don't really mean to, but it's part of like their psyche, so they'll say something and they don't like mean for it to come out, but it just happens to reveal what's going on in their mind. You also have with seeing, sometimes with the way that a person looks at things, that he's looking at places that he doesn't need to look. With this, a person reveals the depth of the bad that is within him. The people that are not looking at things that they're not supposed to be looking at, in general, when they're walking on the street, obviously people you see things on the street, especially when you're walking in Bondi Beach. When a person is not looking at, doesn't have a mind for things, he's not interested in things, he tries to curb his taivas, etc. When he walks on the street, even though he might see something, but he'll look away, it'll be an automatic reaction, he just won't, whatever. Some people, when they're on the street, they look and they see, and and it's because that's what their mind is attuned to. Their mind is attuned to things like that, and their taivas, it's not, we're human beings. Human beings have taivas, but when a person, some people, their minds are just more attuned to it because this is what they're invested in. Other people are not invested in it, so their minds aren't attuned to it. Obviously, no one's to be judged for the taivas. Like we had in Tanya the other day, that for yourself, you need to have a real reckoning. For another person, this is he has his work over here, and maybe like there's a lot of reasons that you can give. Ultimately, as far as he goes, he needs to do what he needs to do, but it's not our job to look at other people and point fingers.
But it can happen anywhere. It's not just in one place, and no matter where you live, there's always going to be the ability for something to come up that you shouldn't be looking at.
Wherever,
even though the person would probably be stoned, if someone could walk through my shrim, in a bikini, like it.
Oh no! So yeah, they'll be stoned, and no one's gonna. I mean, honestly, there might be people there that do look over there, and because it's not about what you're doing. It's not like there's a line that you draw, like, oh, if I look at this on the internet, then I'm doing bad. But if I only think about it really hard, then it's not. No, it has to do with. I mean, not thinking things like this is also a concept of Averis. And it's not about looking at someone and saying this person is a bad person. It's not saying Chas v'Shalom that a person is a bad person. We're talking right now from the perspective of a person himself. If a person doesn't want that other people should know, because apparently people are afraid of other people knowing what's going on with them. But if a person doesn't want other people should know that this is what they're invested in, then they shouldn't be doing this, because they should know, they should be aware of the fact that when you're invested in it, maybe in Me'er Sha'arim it's harder for other people to be able to tell. Maybe that's why everyone likes living in Me'er Sha'arim. I don't know. But at least in Monday Beach, it's very easy to tell when you have a person walking down the street if this person is invested in this kind of thing, or if a person isn't invested in the kind of thing. For better or for worse. And different people have different levels of strength of taivas, but that's how it goes. That's how it goes. It should encourage a person to try to stay away from it. Yeah, okay, we're not doing too bad on time. But anyhow, v'gam im b'nei adam. And even if a person himself doesn't know that he's doing things wrong, in front of Hashem, everything is known and revealed. As it says in if a person will hide in hidden places, will I not see him? As it says that nothing is hidden from Hashem. That nothing is hidden from you, and there's nothing concealed from your eyes. And Hashem reveals everything, all of His concepts to everyone. And as the Chachamim say in the Mishnah, called Machal Shem Shemayim Seisin from Mimenu B'Galei. Anyone that desecrates, I think they say, anyone that's Machalo Hashem's name in hidden, if a person does a verse like this in hidden, then he's avenged in public. Farish Rashi explains, Machal Shem Shemayim Seiser, someone that desecrates Shem Shemayim, the heavenly name, in concealment. That he does an Avera in concealment. He's not able to say that it's referring to the Avera of actual Chilul Hashem. The Chilul Hashem moved before Asya Dafka, because the Avera of Chilul Hashem is Dafka in public. How could it be possible to violate the prohibition of Chilul Hashem in hiddenness, in concealment? The Kavanah, what the mission is referring to, is saying that anyone that does an Avera in concealment. He's avenged in public. Hashem reveals to everyone his charpa, his shame. As it says, as it says that hatred is covered with lies, and his wickedness is revealed in the congregation. So if a person does his actions in darkness and cover in masha'in, which is like an overwhelming darkness. So if a person does the hated thing in concealment, so something which is hated to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Seif Shakadosh Baruch Hu Galar Asay B'Kahol She'Akiru V'Shu Rasha. Hashem will ultimately reveal His wickedness to the congregation, that people will recognize that He is a Rasha. Perishashi, that's Rashi's explanation. Chol Kach Lama, and all of this is for what? Shleis Chal Shem Shemayim Al Yadi, so that Shem Shemayim shouldn't be desecrated by His hand. Shleis so that people shouldn't see the Yisuf Lemi Shu Chacham Eisem Eisem Tevim V'Fogav Eitzares Kol Kach. So that people shouldn't say, this person, look, he's a Talmud Chacham, he does good things, and he has all of these tzaras. Ad Kan L'Sheneh. So until here is the lashon of Rashi explaining the Mishnah, and that Kol Machal Hashem Shemayim Seis and the front of Mimenu B'Galei. Mashma for Teiv Shaleir and Adam Urakim shall say Yetzer Hara. The fact that the Yetzer Hara entices him that no one will know is from the shtusim of the Yetzer Hara. Hashem should save us from them. We see clearly in the nature of humans, the elu sheim bali mezek dak, people that are of I don't know how to explain mezek. Mezek is like when you say what a person is made out of, like what he's comprised of. So when a person is of a refined composition, igla mention a refined person, vali seichol, and people that have intelligence. They're not so inclined to be receptive to followful things, like people who are of gross composition. Grabba mentioned people that have a lot of emotion. Because of all of their great emotion, they're more inclined to be receptive to silly things, and to leanings to which they lean. They can even fool themselves. Seeing as it is animalistic, and it also is very involved in emotion. Animals are very involved in emotion. They need to have good instincts. Animals very much rely on instincts more than intelligence. So the Yetzer Hara, seeing that that's his nature, he's able to entice a person with many kinds of things. And Hashem should save us that there's a kind of person that acts according to the ruling of the Yetzer Hara. He receives his shtusim, he receives his bad advice and his enticements, and he believes that people don't see the things that he's doing which are not good. And B'kitzur, any questions or? So B'kitzur, Adam b'tiva yesh le'mirya sha'azulas le'yeda anyanov umagam anyanov hareim. A person in his nature has a fear that other people shouldn't know what's going on with him, and particularly the things which are bad by him. Mir shemayim kamer basar dam. The fear of heaven is like fear of flesh and blood. A person with his speech and with his body language reveals the depth of bad that is within him. Hashem reveals his shame in public. And the Yetzer Hara with his composition, with the nature of his composition, and he's like rushingness. It's a hard word to translate. Impetuously accepts nonsense and entices the person. So that they translate shlusim as nonsense. No, they bounce. I think they bounce around. Yeah, they bounce around. They also translated as folly before. But anyhow, yeah. So the Yetzer Hara gets a person to receive his nonsense. That, I'm saying that's how they translated it. I don't like.
This is stupidness.
I know.
They used that before.